Today we're going to have a look at finding different percentages of amount. So in our previous lesson, we looked at finding 10%, 5%, 1%, 50%, but today we're going to try and have a look to see if we can use those to find other percentages. So the question we've got on the board is to find 60% of 900 grams. Now I can't find 60% straight off, but there are some different ways I can use my prior learning from our previous lesson to find 60%. Okay, so one of the ways we could say, okay, well, what do I know? I can work 10%, I can work 50%, so I can definitely use those. So I could say, well, 50% and 10% will give me my 60%. So let's work out 50%. Well, we know 50% means half of. So let's look at half of this, because this is what we're finding the percentage of. So it's half of 50. 50% of 900 grams is 450 grams. And then 10%, because we need to find the 10% as well, of 900 grams gives us 90 grams. So then we're just going to add those together to find out what the total amount is when we're looking at 60%, and it's 540 grams. Okay, so let's have a look at a slightly different example. Oh, another way you might have chose to do this, and it would be absolutely right, is say, well, I know that 10%, I can work out 10% is 90, and I can multiply it by 6 because I need 6 lots of it. That is equally right. They're just different methods. It's just about combining those percentages, okay? So 20% of 80, how would we find that one out? So have a go, see if you can think. So pause the video and then come back to me as soon as you've attempted it. Okay, so you should have had a go. Now, straight away, I'm thinking I could work out 10% of 80 quite easily. So I'm going to work out my 10%. But because I want 20, I need 2 lots of that. So there we go. I've got a 10% and a 10%, which will give me 20%. That means I need to add my 8 and my 8 together, and I get 16. Okay, let's have a look at another one. So let's do 40% of 80 this time. So pause the video, have a go. Okay, so you should have worked out this answer, and you've now just pressed play again. So again, I know that I can work out 10%. So 10% is 8. But I want 40%, so I would need to do that 4 times. So 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%. So we can see here, 10, 10, 10, 10, that gives me my 40%. So each of them are worth 8, so I can add them all up. So 8, 16, 24, 32. Okay, one more for you to try, and then I'm going to get you to go and have a go at some questions. 70% of 80. Now, there are a couple of different ways that you can work this out. So pause the video, have a go, and come back. Okay, so one of the ways that you might have worked this out is said, okay, well, I can work out 50% of 80 because it's half. That would give me 40. Then I could work out 10%, which is 8. And I could work out another 10% because we then know this bit here will give me my 70%. And then I would add these up to get my answer. You'll see as well that I've lined these up, so the 8s are in the 1s column ready so that I can add those up really easily. Okay, do watch that when you're adding up, that you haven't accidentally put your 8 in this column and add it to your 10s. Okay, the other way that you could have worked this one out is said, well, actually I can work out my 10%. 10% would have given me 8. I need 7 lots of that. So you could have then said, well, 7 lots of 8 would have given me 56. And that is equally right. Okay, so stop the video, go back to the form and complete the other questions for me.